You shouldn't be here unless you've already subscribed to Dr. Nightmare.
She sleeps beneath us. Most people don't believe me when I tell them what happened at that old cabin. I don't blame them. I wouldn't believe it either if I hadn't lived it. But I've carried this story for almost a decade, and I'm starting to think that maybe telling it is the only way I'll ever be free of it. It started during the fall break of our senior year. Me, Noah, along with my best friends Tyson, Lena, and Brielle. We were supposed to be house-sitting Tyson's uncle's fishing lodge out in the Deep Ridge woods while he and his family went to Colorado. The place was ancient, built in the 1950s, with sagging floors, water-stained ceilings, and a weird smell like pine and mildew. But to us, it was freedom. No curfews, no parents, and just enough cell signal to keep Snapchat alive. By the third night, we were bored. We'd played every drinking game we could think of, explored the woods, even tried to fish off the foggy dock. That's when Brielle pulled something out of her backpack, an old wooden board carved with strange letters and symbols. "Found it in my grandma's garage," she said with a grin. "Thought it might be fun." Tyson frowned. "Is that one of those talking boards?" "It's not real," Lena shrugged. "It's just a game." I didn't say anything, but I remember feeling uneasy the moment it hit the table. Still, we played. At first, it was silly stuff. What grade will I get on the chemistry final? Will Tyson hook up with his crush at homecoming? But then Brielle asked, "Is there anyone here with us?" The air in the room changed, like the temperature dropped by 10 degrees. The candle we'd lit flickered, and the wooden planchette shifted under our fingers. Yes. None of us admitted to moving it. "Who are you?" Tyson asked. The board spelled M-A-R-L-I-N. "Where are you from?" Lena asked. B-E-L-O-W. We all exchanged glances. "You mean like the basement?" Brielle joked. The board responded, N-O-B-E-L-O-W-T-H-E-M-U-D. Tyson chuckled nervously. "Okay, spooky ghost, what do you want?" The board spelled slowly, T-O-G-E-T-O-U-T. We ended the session right there, laughed it off, went to bed. But that night, I couldn't sleep. There was a noise, scratching, coming from under the cabin floor. Not mice, not a branch. A slow, deliberate scraping, like fingernails on wood. I told myself it was my imagination, just nerves. The next day, Brielle had deep bags under her eyes. She said she couldn't sleep. She kept dreaming about digging, like she was trying to claw her way up through dirt. That afternoon, Tyson found something under the porch, a small wooden box buried beneath loose planks. Inside was a porcelain doll, pale, water-damaged, with matted hair and eyes that had turned completely black from age or mold. Its name was carved crudely on the back. Marlin. We didn't bring it inside. We left it by the fire pit. That night, Tyson vanished. We woke up to find his bed empty. No footprints outside, no signs of struggle, just his flashlight lying at the edge of the porch, pointing into the forest. We called the sheriff. They organized a search party. But after 3 days, no trace, not even a boot print. The rest of us left the cabin that day. But it didn't end there. Lena started waking up with bruises on her legs. She claimed she could hear someone whispering her name every night. And Brielle, she stopped speaking entirely. Just sat in her room all day scribbling the word below over and over in notebooks. I visited her once. Her mom let me into her room. It was dark. All the windows were covered in bed sheets. She just pointed to her closet and whispered, "He's in there. He watches." I looked. Nothing was there. Until that night. I had taken the board from the cabin, thinking maybe if I destroyed it, whatever was happening would stop. I burned it in my backyard fire pit, watched the flames eat through the wood. But the next morning, it was on my kitchen table. Intact, clean, like it had never been touched. I threw it in the river that afternoon, and then I stopped sleeping. For nights, I'd wake up gasping, hands clawing at my throat like I couldn't breathe. My bedroom door would creak open slowly, even though I'd locked it, and cold air would pour in. And then, one night, I saw him. Not in a dream, not in the dark edges of my vision. He was standing at the foot of my bed, small, no taller than a toddler, but not a child. His body was twisted too thin, like the bones hadn't grown right. His face was pale with stitched mouth and solid black eyes that didn't blink. He pointed at me, and then he said, in a voice that sounded like wet leaves sliding across stone, "You broke the circle." I screamed, ran into the hallway, but my door slammed shut behind me. When I opened it, he was gone. The next morning, I called Lena, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I drove to her house. Her mom answered the door sobbing. Lena had died in her sleep. They said it was a seizure. Her body was contorted like she'd been fighting something. Her sheets were shredded. At the foot of her bed, someone had carved one word into the floorboards with something sharp. O-B-S-E-R-V-E. That was the last time I stayed alone. I moved in with my older brother, told him everything. He didn't believe me, but he let me crash in the guest room. For a while, things were quiet. Until one morning, I woke up and found the doll sitting on my pillow, mud on its dress, wet soil on the sheets. I burned it again, this time with lighter fluid, drenched it until it was nothing but ash. That night, I woke up to my room filling with water. Except, there was no water. I couldn't breathe, my ears filled with pressure, like I was sinking. And then, I felt hands pulling me down into the mattress, not choking, dragging. I fought, screamed, kicked. When I opened my eyes, I was on the floor, gasping, the bed soaking wet beneath me, but the room was dry. That's when I knew Marlon wasn't a ghost. He was something older, something that wasn't meant to be seen or named, something that lived beneath the surface of things, beneath the floorboards, beneath memory. A few weeks later, I went back to the cabin. Alone. I had to end it. The place had been abandoned since Tyson vanished. I brought with me 3 things: a crowbar, a Bible, and a bottle of gasoline. I pried open the floor near the fireplace, dug with my bare hands, found the same space from before, but this time it went deeper, like a tunnel. Earthen walls, roots twisting like veins. The smell was rancid, like rotting meat and sulfur. I crawled in, and there he was. Marlin. Not a doll, not a child, something in between. A grotesque figure stitched together from memory and shadow. Dozens of eyes blinked open across his chest, mouths whispering in languages I couldn't understand. He reached for me. I poured the gasoline, lit the match. Everything went up. I barely made it out before the fire swallowed the cabin. The blaze burned for 2 days. Firefighters said it was one of the hottest fires they'd ever seen. Nothing was left, not a remains, not even a foundation.
Since then, the dreams have stopped. But I still keep a lamp on, still avoid old floorboards, and every now and then, I hear a scratching beneath my bed. Just faint enough to ignore, but not quite quiet enough to forget.